got it! Oh man, yet another AI fucking... I can't even really use the term slop, but yet another AI like program has come out. And it's looking pretty realistic, I'm not gonna lie. It's like easily the most realistic example that I've seen of anything AI related. And the biggest part, or the craziest part that I've seen, is that it can actually replicate streamers now. So fucking streamers, their days are numbered, dude. Like, I hate the fact that I have to go to Drama Alert's fucking Twitter page or whatever to see this or to show this, but it's the best place for it because it's the one that has the best example. But basically, Google had basically what amounts to their I guess it's not really their developer conference. It's called Google I/O. And Google I/O is basically where they announce new products and new endeavors, you know, anything that basically they just kind of announce the new direction that the company's going in year over year, okay? So this year, they apparently announced a massive AI initiative, which, big fucking shock. It seems like every tech company in the world is doing that right now. But I believe they actually launched, or at least soft launched, their AI. It's called Veo 3, and the stuff that it can do is actually fucking insane. Like, you can basically just tell it to make an action movie scene, and it's so convincing that most people, and when I say most, I mean like 90+% of people can't tell if it's fake or real. So apparently you have to pay for it right now. It's like $250 a month, so it's fairly expensive. But for the people that are going to be using it, that's nothing. I mean, that's super low cost, because we already know people are going to be using it to make fucking slop content, you know, like top 10s and movie reviews and stuff like that. But somebody typed in a prompt to have it make a fake Minecraft streamer that doesn't really exist, and it did it like fairly easily. It looks like this. So this is the fake streamer that it generated. Like, this dude isn't even real.
Okay, so this is how you start. You find a tree and you just, like, you know, punch it down. Okay, so this
like, dude, this is fucking crazy. You can't even tell, man. I mean, it's pretty, what do they call it? Uncanny Valley or whatever? It definitely is. Like,
this is how you start. You find a tree and you just, like, you know, punch it down.
I like how he's super energetic, like overly energetic. It's almost like they asked it to make it in the style of like XQC, you know? So this streamer's not real. And then they made another one for a Fortnite streamer. This person is also not real, but look how convincing this is.
Oh my god.
The only way you can tell this is fake is the actual screen. Like, a lot of the on-screen elements don't make any sense, but it's pretty close.
Yes! Woo! Victory Royale with a pickaxe!
Like, man, this is fucking crazy. And I also think it's hilarious that in both of those clips, the SM7B is so fucking common that even in both of the AI-generated streamer clips, it looks like they're both using one. Like, good lord, dude. We've really jumped the shark when it's that popular that you ask AI to just make a streamer, you know, generate one out of thin fucking air, and it you know, makes them have one. It's definitely, I would say, concerning, but that's not really the right word. It's kind of scary, actually. Because, I mean, obviously I can't show all the examples, but people have basically had it create like a whole action movie scene on the fly. They've had it create like people in different backgrounds with different accents, sing all kinds of different shit. Basically whatever the hell you want them to say. You know, obviously it has Google's safety. It's called like their safety layer. So it's the same thing that ChatGPT will turn around and tell you, hey, no, we can't do that. I mean, they're actually pretty good about that, to be fair. Like, ChatGPT will not let you generate, like, insulting things about real people. It won't let you generate fake things about real people. So that's kind of the limitation on this Veo 3 technology. Like, you can't have it create a video of a real life person and have them say something that they didn't say. Like, if it detects that it's based on a real person, or that you have given it a prompt that's based on a real person, it'll just immediately come back with like a red screen and say, hey, I can't do that. That's, you know, violating the terms of service. So it's like, at least that's something, but it's little consolation when you consider the fact that, you know, we're now living in times where you can just very easily say, hey, generate a video of, you know, this, that, or the other, and it just does it in like presumably seconds. I mean, I don't see how it could take much longer than just a few seconds to do it. And then there you go. You know, you've got it for whatever purposes you intend to use it for. And I guarantee you that, especially if someone gets a hold of this technology, like for now, I guess it's okay because Google has access to it. So it's not the worst thing in the world. Like, you know, they're going to safeguard it because it's a technology that they really care about safeguarding. But if someone were somehow able, I'm sure there's a way, I'm sure someone knows a way, because people always know how to do this shit. If someone finds a way to circumvent that, or to, I guess, make it open source in a way to where you could just do whatever the fuck you wanted with it, that would be very scary. I mean, looking at the streamer videos, they're kind of funny and everything, but I mean, think about political streamers, and I want to be clear, this is not a slight against political streamers, I'm not talking shit, but think about what they do. The majority of their content is making snarky comments, either about politicians or other streamers, and reacting to YouTube videos. You don't think that could very easily be replaced with AI? At least with gameplay, the AI is not so good, at least yet, at replicating all of the on-screen elements for certain video games. Like Fortnite, you saw, was a complete mess. And on top of that, that might get into a legality issue, because you would technically be violating the copyright of these companies by generating AI gameplay. Wouldn't you be violating? I'm sure there's going to be a big, if there's not already, I'm sure there's going to be a big clause or a big lawsuit about that coming up soon, of, you know, AI generated video of games that people are not purchasing or spending money on. So there's got to be, a line has got to be drawn when it comes to this shit, where they say you cannot AI generate footage of video games without the company's permission, or without, you know, something. I guarantee you something along those lines is going to happen. So we'll see. But, you know, it just, people always clown on me because I always talk about fucking GW and Metal Gear Solid 2 predicting this type of shit 20 years ago. But they really did, man. I mean, they even referred to GW was basically an information control program. You know, what they described was essentially a Google algorithm. And, you know, the theory that it kind of purported was, and this was the year 2000 that this was written, by the way. It was either 2000 or 2001, maybe even 1999. And the theory was like, in the future, the internet itself will determine what truth is based on what search results you get. So if you Google something, you know, it's a big meme that you should never have to go to the second page of Google. If you have to go to the second page of Google, what you're looking for is either very shady or it doesn't exist. There's a reason for that. It's called SEO, or search engine optimization. And all online search engine companies have implemented this in one way or the other, going all the way back to the 90s. And what it does is, well, it's kind of complicated, but essentially it uses a number of algorithms to determine what results to show you first. Based on what you search for, there could be very different results. If you're looking for a video, it'll usually be a link to like a news organization that has posted the video. But if you're looking for a product, obviously it's going to show you online retailers. So they have what's called SEO, search engine optimization, that depending on what type of thing you're searching for will show you optimized results that will guarantee you click, because they need you to click because they get the ad revenue when you do. Not just from Google, but these websites also have partnerships with Google, where if you click on their website, you will then get an ad that is posted by Google. And if you click on that, then they get revenue. So, you know, nowadays most people run ad blocker, and that's cool. But the reality is, like, companies are getting wise to ad blockers, and Google in particular is very, very strict. Like on YouTube, I think it straight up detects like most ad blockers and just says, you cannot view this video until you disable your ad blocker. Like, it's gotten to that point where they're basically shaming you and doing the fucking, they're like, turn off the ad blocker or we're not going to play the content and you don't get a say in it, motherfucker. That's what they're doing. So, I mean, realistically, you have to consider, like, what is this going to be used for? And so far, the only two videos, like, it literally just came out today. Like, either a beta version or a preliminary version or something. I don't think the full version came out today, but you got to think, like, what is this going to be used for and how quick is it going to be taken advantage of? And I just have a feeling it's going to be really bad. And again, you know, for right now, Google has their safety laws in place. There was actually just a bill passed like 48 hours ago, it was called like the Take It Down Act or something like that, where basically if you AI generate, or what they call a deep fake, footage of someone else, it is a felony, and you can actually very easily be charged and go to jail for that. So even if it's not malicious, even if it's something that just attempts to mislead people and and make them think that you said something you didn't say, even if that's the only purpose of the video, it's still considered a felony. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of that, and there needs to be a lot of it. Like, this shit is going to get out of hand really, really quick. Like, almost every person talking about this video is like, the AI, this person is right. He's like, it's so insane how the AI is creating imaginary plosives into the imaginary Shure mic. Yeah, it fucking is. It has detected, you know, when you make that sound into this specific mic, because so many streamers use it, that when you ask it to AI generate a streamer, it replicates that. How crazy is that, man? I don't know, dude. I definitely think we should end this shit before it gets out of hand, but the sad reality is it might already be too late. And I don't mean that to sound dramatic, but for fuck's sake, dude, like, we're talking about AI generating streamers. Like, look at this.
Just like, you know.
This could very easily. Oh, what's up, Kendo? Oh shit, sorry. What's up, Kendo? We're talking about AI generated streamers. Look, Google released a new thing called Veo 3 today. What's up, by the way? Google released a new thing called Veo 3, and it lets you, it's like the most advanced AI video service yet, and it also generates audio with the video, something that no other one has been able to do. So somebody asked it to generate an overexcited streamer playing Minecraft, and this is what it did.
Okay, so this is how you start. You find a tree, and you just, like, you know, punch it down.
That is not a real person. Is that not fucking crazy?
Okay, so this is how you start. You find a tree, and you just, like, you know, punch it down.
And then the other one they asked it to do was a guy playing Fortnite, and this is what it did. The only reason why... Oh, by the way, look, he's actually using an SM7B. You can see in his, like, face cam, because it's such a common mic that it just was like, oh, streamer, they must be using this. And it even replicates, like, the plosive sounds into the sounds. It even replicates that. The only reason you can even tell this is AI is because a lot of the on-screen elements are fucked up and like congealed together. Hey, what's up, Dudecore? Yeah, man, I will be playing DBD later. Wait, why is my multi-chat not working? Oh, it worked for me. What the? What? Why'd your message get eaten? Why does it do that? Here, let me reactivate it. But yeah, there we go. There we go. I just had to reactivate it. Yeah, look at this, dude. We're talking... Do you play Dead by Daylight? Because if you do, I'd run some games with you, dude. I don't know if you do, though. We're talking about AI-generated streamers anyway. So this is an AI-generated video of a guy playing Fortnite. Again, this person does not exist. This gameplay is completely fake. And, yeah.
Oh my god.
You can even hear the little clicks of a clicky, like, Razer mechanical keyboard. Listen to this.
Oh my god. Yes! Woo! Victory Royale with a pickaxe!
That is crazy.
God. Yes! Woo! Victory Royale with a pickaxe!
Is that not fucking insane, dude? Oh my god, man. What are we doing? And that's just the first 2 videos that we know of. Like, these were just a few hours ago. Like, imagine what's going to come out in the next few days.
Okay, so this is how you start. You find a tree, and you just, like, you know, punch it down.
Like, the only thing that's stupid about this one is he's not actually playing. Like, his hands are up, and the game is still moving. So, anyways, what I was saying about it is, Google has their, what they call a safety layer in place. So they are going to be cooperating with the US government. They've already said, like, just a couple days ago, they actually signed a bill into law called the Take It Down Act or something along those lines. It's like the Take It Down or You Must Take It Down Act or something like that. Where if you knowingly upload false, you know, AI generated or deep fake footage of another person, you are forced to take it down. Otherwise, you face jail time. So Google is going to be cooperating with the US government to make sure that's not happening, but I don't know, man. I feel like people are going to be able to find a way around it, and then they're going to, like, VPN all these crazy fucking ways and make themselves untraceable. Like, I don't know. I just see a disaster waiting to happen here, is what I see. It seems like people will do everything in their power, because that's what people do with every AI thing. They do it with Grok, they do it with fucking ChatGPT, they do it with whatever Facebook's version, Meta, I think it's called. They do it with everyone. They just, like, make the weirdest prompts and say things like 1-word answer only, answer this specific way, answer that specific way, and then they, like, screenshot it out of context to make it look like it said one thing, when really, if you go back through the whole chain of what it was asking it to do, it's nowhere near. So that's one thing that I think that's good that Twitter does, is if somebody asks, quote unquote, asks Grok a question, it will show the whole chain of messages. Like, every single thing you asked Grok to do, it will show. So you can't get away with just saying, like, oh my god, Grok said this. Can you guys believe it? And then you go back through the interaction, you see they actually asked them like 20 questions just to force it into a corner and make it say one particular answer so that they could then go, oh my god. You know what I mean? It's so stupid. So that's one good thing that Twitter does, is it always ensures that you can see the whole exchange between the person and Grok whenever that happens. So yeah, I guess we'll see how that all turns out. I don't foresee it's going to turn out well, but oh god, man, I just think that it's getting out of hand. Like, it's really getting out of hand now. And people said, you know, it was crazy whenever that Sora, it was like Sora AI or Sora video, whatever that was, but that didn't even have audio. There was no audio to those videos. You would have had to have get like a Foley artist to make audio for you. But now Google just generates it alongside the video. So I don't know, man. I didn't intend for this first part of the stream to just be me freaking out about AI, and I'm not necessarily freaking out about it. I just don't know what to say, man. And then of course you have all like the tech bros, like filmmaking has changed forever. Content creators, your days are numbered. You know what I mean? Like, all the tech bros are ready to like deploy a whole team of people generating AI videos on a daily basis to fill like their slop channels with content. The tech bros are out in full force defending this stuff. And somebody already fucking asked it to do one gorilla versus 1,000 men. Like, what the fuck, dude? Oh my god. I tell you, man. And it almost makes me feel like, you know, and I've said this before, you guys have heard me say this many times, but like, I feel like the boat for streaming is already gone. Like, if you didn't get into this, I wouldn't say you had to get into it as early as like 2010 or anything, but if you didn't get into this by maybe 2015 or 2017 at the absolute latest, I feel like it's almost too late to grow into a significant streamer. And you could make the argument, you know, Kai Cenat and you know, people that maybe blew up in the last 3-4 years, but I would say most of those people got there because they knew somebody who was already big and who did start at those times. You know, like 10 plus years ago. I don't know, man. Like, it feels like most of the large streamers right now started in 2017. Most of them. And if they didn't, they've been around forever. Like, Maximilian dude was streaming on fucking Justin TV in like 2010. So that guy has literally been around for 15 years, if not longer. And I saw, you know, I don't usually give too much merit to like just rando Twitter posts or anything, but I did see one where I was like, you know, that's kind of true. Like, some person just was like fed up with the whole, you know, every other kid trying to be the next big streamer or whatever. He's like, seriously, guys, the world doesn't need another streamer. Like, go into an engineering field, go into something that's actually going to be societally useful. And I sat back and thought about it, and I was like, you know, he's actually kind of right. I'm not going to lie. He's actually kind of right. You know, streamers, at the end of the day, as far as a career path, you're essentially a billboard. You are a billboard for hire when you're a streamer. Companies see you and they see your numbers as a billboard. And the larger your billboard is, the more likely they are to run to you at high speed and offer you truckloads of money to advertise their products. But whether it's Twitch advertising on your channel or Elgato or, you know, any number of the typical, Factor, like those pre-prepared meals or whatever, you know, any number of the companies. Oh, what's up, Dr. Red? Any number of the companies that advertise on Twitch or YouTube or elsewhere. Any of those companies will throw you money if you have the numbers. And that's what essentially being a streamer is. You're a professional advertiser. That's what you are. That's where all of your revenue comes from. Now, of course, you do make your own revenue via subscribers and bits and things, but that's all split outside of donations, which you could argue that's still technically split with PayPal most of the time. But I wouldn't say split. It's like 70-30. You know, split, when you use that term, you're thinking more like 50-50. But yeah, it's like a 70-30 split. But when you're talking about Twitch and subscribers, unless you have like 350 plus subscribers to get into the Partner Plus program, then yes, it is mostly a 50-50 split, where Twitch gets $2.50 and you get $2.50 out of every sub. Well, a little bit more now because I think the lowest price is $6. Anyways, what's up, Dr. Red? I was just making the point, like, someone made a post on Twitter the other day saying, like, the world doesn't need any more streamers, and they were trying to encourage younger kids to get into more, like, tangible career paths, like engineering and stuff like that. And I sat back and I thought about it, and I was like, you know, man, it's kind of spitting facts. I'm not going to lie. Like, you know, if I had a son or a daughter, I would be okay with them doing whatever they wanted to do to make them happy. But the real part of me, you know, the part of me that is a super grounded realist, sometimes to a fault, but the part of me that's a realist says it's just not going to happen for everybody. Like, it's okay to give it a shot, But please have a cutoff day where you say, you know what? Unfortunately, this is not working out. I'm going to pivot and try something else. You know what I mean? And you could say, hey, Stampede G, you're being a big fat hypocrite right now because you've streamed for X amount of years and whatever. Well, I'm not trying to do this as a career though. Like, I'm just arguing with my own thoughts. Anyway, well, I'm not trying to say that you guys are saying that. I'm just saying, you know, someone may look at it and say, well, you've been doing this for X amount of time and whatever. Yeah, but I'm not trying to do it full time. I just simply do this as a hobby on the side because it's something I enjoy and I'm passionate about. But I'm not delusional to think that I'm doing this full time or anything. I go live like 3 times a week. There's no way it would be sustainable if I was trying to do it full time, you know? So I don't know. Did you see the AI videos, Dr. Red? We were looking at those a second ago. Google released a new AI video thing today that has audio with it, and people have already been using it to AI generate streamers. I was DMing you about that a little bit ago, but I don't know if I showed you anything. Dude, I fucking hate AI as well. I'm right there with you. And I think that we're already like treading very dangerous waters with where we're at. But at least with the old stuff, it wasn't able to generate audio. Now it can make audio alongside it. Check this out, dude. I know, I'm sorry, a couple of you guys are probably really annoyed because I've shown this like 4 times, but I'm going to show it again because it's insane.
You find a tree.
All right. So here's the first one. This was the prompt somebody typed in: overexcited streamer playing Minecraft. And this is what it looked like.
Okay, so this is how you start. You find a tree and you just like, you know, punch it down.
Why does he look like he's on crack? But anyways. And then the next one was a streamer playing Fortnite who gets a victory royale with just a pickaxe. Watch this. By the way, notice the little details in this. You can hear like the clicky keyboard, like it's a Razer keyboard. Listen.
Oh my god. Yes! Woo! Victory Royale with a pickaxe!
You notice when he said pickaxe, it did the plosive thing into the mic. Listen right here.
With a pickaxe!
That is insane. And you can see just from the little thing down here that it's clearly supposed to be this exact mic. So what I said is the only way you can tell that this is AI is because of the elements on screen making no sense. Like even the characters' animations don't make much sense. Like they're kind of close, but they're not right. See what I mean? Like there's a timer here. It's not the Victory Royale logo and stuff and other shit like that. But still fucking scary nonetheless, man. Still pretty crazy. Like what I was saying is I would imagine that this could easily bring about a bunch of lawsuits because imagine you are a developer, say you're Epic Games or one of these, you know, huge developers, and all of a sudden someone is AI generating a bunch of streamer gameplay footage of your game. Like, wouldn't that be grounds for a lawsuit? Aren't you technically infringing on someone's copyright if you do that? I would say, yeah. I would say certainly you would be. So that's the only thing, but I was saying, like, imagine political streamers. Like, you could very easily just play a video and then just tell the AI to, like, generate a leftist person that's making snarky comments about the video, and then you could just pretend that it's a real person. I mean, seriously, what's to prevent people from doing stuff like this? Or say that it's a right-leaning person who's making funny comments about a video, and then you just play the video. Like, it would take 2 seconds of editing for you to overlay the AI person over top of the video, the real video. And then you could essentially just make an AI content mill out of this and not put, like, a modicum of effort into it. It's insane, man, how close we are to the, you know, to that slope of not being able to tell what's real or what's not anymore. We're getting very, very close, and it's pretty concerning. So, I don't even know what to say, man. And Hey, what's up, Sick? It's going good, man. Going good. Just, you know, doing our typical doom scrolling about AI. You know how we do. Did you see the fucking drama alert posts about AI Minecraft streamers and Fortnite streamers? I was saying React content, the way that it is presented right now, is kind of on the verge. Like, I think it's going to be gone soon with the advent of this. Playing some Silent Hill 3 last... Oh, hey, perfect song for it then. By the way, I'm trying out some new mic settings. The highs are boosted now, so it should sound very, very clear. Oh yeah, like when you go into the bathroom and you hear the knocking in the distance in just your left side. Yeah, dude. It's like they had that shit nailed before. Remember that meme that everybody was sending around where it's like somebody knocks on your door and everybody would take their headphones off because they're like, what? Somebody here? They did that way back then. Like 2003, they already had that shit figured out. Yeah. Yeah, see, I always forget. You have, you literally have, I think, the widest soundstage headphones in the fucking industry. Because the drivers are far, and then they're back, so they point directly in toward your ear canals. And that shit, I have not heard a pair of HD 800s or 800Ss myself, but I've heard some stories that they sound very, very distant and really good. I mean, for God's sake, for the price, they better. But even on DT990s, that is still certainly the case. Anyways, what's going on with you guys tonight? I have the next 5 days off. I requested Thursday and Friday off, and my entire company, or at least my entire team, is off on this coming Monday for Memorial Day. So we're chilling. Going back to school Monday. Hey, that's good though. It means you don't have to work, right? Because don't they pay you to go to school? So it's a win-win, really. It's a win-win, dude. Nice, dude, that's good. $700 a week? If we're just going to school, that's good money. That's solid. So, yeah, I basically, like, you guys gotta understand, there's already AI content mill channels. And when I say content mill, what I essentially mean is like a farm. You just steal things and you upload it and make money on it. You steal a synopsis of a movie. Like, you go on Wikipedia, you steal the plot of a movie, and then you go on IMDb and you download and steal some clips from that movie. You throw the clips into your editor, you make an AI voice talk over top of it and explain the plot of the movie, and then that's your video. And then the only thing you do is you add a "you won't believe what happens in this film" at the beginning or some shit. And believe it or not, there's people out there that will believe it and think that it's real. And they will sit there and watch the entire YouTube short telling them that they won't believe what happened in a popular movie from 20 years ago. It is insane, man. And it's especially crazy with things like Joe Rogan, because Joe Rogan has thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of him talking on the internet. So if you make an AI generated video of him talking, it's incredibly convincing. Like, it does the breath, like when he speaks, when he stops talking, when he pauses, when he takes a breath in, exactly how his mic compressor and all that shit sounds. It basically has it down perfect. So I don't know. Quebblecop has his own AI. I'm just tired of the term, even just the term AI. I'm so fucking exhausted of it, man. Seriously. So fucking exhausted of it. Well, anyways, with that being said, we have some nightmare fuel to get into. Sorry, I spaced out there for a second. But anyways, I'm off the next several days. Oh, there's a whole YouTube channel called Nightmare Fuel now. Well, that's not what I was looking for, but... let's see. Chilling Scares, I think, uploaded a really good video. I love this guy's channel so much, man. Yes. Just looking at this. 5 most disturbing 4chan threads and 10 disturbing internet rabbit holes explained. Let's fucking go. This is exactly what I needed tonight, you know? Sit back, watch some fucking Nightmare Fuel, and then maybe potentially play some DBD later on. But this is the crux of what I've been waiting to do all week. Let's get into it. Oh, gotta move myself down right there. There we go. All right, 10 disturbing internet rabbit holes explained.
Back in the early 90s, a mysterious phone number started popping up on billboards and newspaper ads across North America. It was a vanity number that spelled out 1-800-GOLF-TIP. Seeing this, most people assumed that it was an innocent golf tips helpline or something of the sort. However, that couldn't have been further from the truth. When someone did call the number, they were greeted by the sound of a person breathing into his microphone. This was then quickly followed by the same person counting off numbers 1 through 10.
Oh, sorry about this, by the way. I moved my camera, so I have to recenter here. Okay. Sorry about that. That's all. We're good now.
10 in an Indian or Middle Eastern accent over and over again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. This sequence kept repeating for minutes on end, leaving many people confused and prompting them to hang up. 2, 3, 4, 5. However, this counting didn't last forever. People discovered that after about 10 to 12 minutes, the voice faded into silence and was replaced by static noise. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
That seemed kind of fake. Like the voice sounded like it was on the phone, and then that sounded like modern day sound effects being played for the video.
But that wasn't all. Because the ones who kept on listening were eventually startled by a loud and unsettling siren sound.
Kind of hot beat, I'm not gonna lie. They need to sample that and put it in the newest Trippie Red song.
Not only was this extremely creepy, it also left the listener with many unanswered questions, like what was the purpose of the strange counting? And why would anyone pay money to advertise this number in the first place? Over the next few years, the 1-800-GOLF-TIP number became a modern folktale of sorts. People heard about it through word of mouth, dialed in out of curiosity, and were all met with the same eerie voice. This phenomenon was widespread enough to become one of the earliest internet rabbit holes, as I found mentions of the number dating as
oh wow, 2003.
Was widespread enough to become one of the earliest internet rabbit holes.
R.E. Buh? Nobody knows about it, and that's the problem. CBC has no advertising budget, and the kids these days don't realize how cool it is to have some crazy guy with one shoe on drone off lists of things. What? They don't realize that Finkelman's 45s is the 1-800-GOLF tip for the new generation. Oh, he's just referencing. I was like, what the hell does this have to do with the golf tip line? Yeah, Resident Evil 1-800-GOLF tip. It's the new game, dude.
As I found mentions of the number dating as far back as 2003. However, the complete lack of information gave rise to a flood of theories attempting to explain the mystery, including one which speculated if 1-800-GOLF tip had something to do with number stations, which, for those who don't know, are shortwave radio broadcasts of unknown origin. These usually transmit sequences of spoken numbers, tones, or coded messages, often in eerie, mechanical voices. Many believe they're used by governments to send encrypted instructions to spies in the field. So, according to this theory, the 1-800-GOLF tip number served a similar purpose.
Another theory that many came up with was that this number was a part of a marketing campaign, probably to gather working phone numbers for telemarketing later or as a social...
That I would believe. You guys may not know how fucking vast these like number capture scammers are, but they will call, like, they have these automated phone systems where they'll call like hundreds if not thousands of numbers every single day just to capture them, and then they just basically take down which ones actually answer and which ones don't, and then those are the ones that they target for the scams. So it could definitely have been something like that.
Of a marketing campaign, probably to gather working phone numbers for telemarketing later or as a social experiment to generate hype for an upcoming product. However, none of these theories hold up to scrutiny. For starters, if number stations are indeed used to transmit instructions to spies, their entire purpose is to deliver messages anonymously, leaving no trace of who received them. A purpose that's negated completely if the receiver had to call a phone number that could potentially be traced back to them. On the other hand, the marketing and number collection theories don't hold much weight either. There are far more effective ways to achieve both goals without depending on an unlikely chance of the number spreading through word of mouth and attracting calls from curious people. Ultimately, despite many attempts at uncovering the truth, 1-800-GOLF-TIP remained a mystery for nearly 3 decades. That is, until a Reddit user took it upon himself to
fucking Reddit user. You know, they joke about RBI, r/RBI, which is the Reddit Bureau of Investigation, but I tell you, dude, these motherfuckers have uncovered some crazy stuff. They really have.
Mystery for nearly 3 decades. That is, until a Reddit user took it upon himself to get to the bottom of it. He spent over 4 years combing through the available leads and gathering personal anecdotes from people who remembered calling this number in their childhood. And as it turns out, the 1-800-GOLF-TIP rabbit hole wasn't a viral hoax or a disturbing conspiracy. Instead, it was the result of a simple mistake. You see, back in 1994, the Professional Golfers Association, or PGA, was touring across North America. And in an effort to promote the sport, they set up billboards and purchased ad space in newspapers, listing their golf tip line 1-800-GOLF-TIP. However, this line was only meant to be active for 2 days, as evident from this 1994 ad in the Tampa Tribune, which reads,
there it is.
Golfers nationwide can receive golf tips today and Sunday via a toll-free instruction hotline presented by the PGA of America and USA Today. The hotline, featuring nearly 100 PGA members, is being offered in conjunction...
So my guess would be the 2 days expired, and then basically whatever bought up the same phone number and just started broadcasting whatever the fuck on it, or whoever and whatever, and that's why all the weird, you know, pre-recorded sounds. Oh, my bad.
For the Tommy Armour PGA Teaching and Coaching Summit in New Orleans. Call 800-GOLF-TIP. Following the campaign, billboards in low-traffic areas that never received a new ad ended up staying up far longer than intended. However, by then, the tip line was replaced by a placeholder test message from the phone company. As for the disturbing siren sound at the end, it was just one of the many pre-recorded tones phone companies used to signal that the call hadn't reached its intended destination. In the end, 1-800-GOLF-TIP wasn't a covert spy line or a clever marketing ploy. It was simply the byproduct of a phone company forgetting to disconnect a test number. And while the truth isn't as thrilling as some might have hoped, it brought closure to those who spent nearly 30 years chasing the mystery.
That's really interesting, but I guarantee you that explanation's not enough for some Redditors, because you know how some Redditors are just, they believe what they believe and no like they probably are already accusing the Reddit user that found all this out. They're probably already accusing him of like working with the government, and they're like, oh, that's exactly what someone who set up a government spy line would say, dude. I don't believe you. I need proof. Show your license. Show your social security number, dude. Sometimes it's just not enough for those people.
User 927. On August 4th, 2006, AOL, which was an early search engine like Google, released a text file on its website containing 20 million search queries from its users. These queries were collected from over 650,000 users and spanned a period of about 3 months. Whether this release was intentional or simply a private file mistakenly made
public... Oh my god. Sorry to keep pausing, but this brings back so many fucking memories. Good lord. Wow. Such an old browser, dude. That's not even Windows XP. That looks like Windows ME or something. It's either Windows 98 or Windows ME. Holy shit, that's old.
Remains unclear. The user's actual names were replaced with anonymous filler numbers starting at 1, so like user 34 or user 152, but based solely on each user's searches, you could usually still find out a lot about
Oh
them.
no. What are these fucking websites, dude? AsianSexyGoddess.com, BestAsianCompany.com. Oh my.
Mistakenly made public remains unclear. The user's actual names were replaced with anonymous filler numbers starting at 1, so like user
I saw another really sus one.
34 or user 152, but based solely on each
Yeah, TabyCummings.com. Oh no, dude. They just exposed their entire user base as gooners.
user's searches, you could usually still find out a lot about them. The company did apologize and remove the file 3 days later, but it was already too late.
Oh, I thought it was intentional.
Thousands of people had already copied the file and began combing through it out of curiosity. And while most of the searches were exactly what you'd expect, like users looking for restaurant recommendations, planning vacations, or searching for medical symptoms, user 927's search history stood out from the rest for just how shockingly disturbing it was. It started off
What? I was gonna say disturbing.
history stood out from the rest for just how shocking
He watched the Budweiser Clydesdale video. He looked for Fall Out Boy Sugar We're Going Down Swinging. Badmovieclub.typepad.com. Dirty Little Secret music video by All American Rejects.
it was. It started off quite normal, with user 927 looking up songs from various artists. There were also some medical queries, such as the time it takes for a broken leg to heal and fungal infections, as well as numerous searches on different types of flowers. But it didn't take long for user 927's searches to shift into the realm of deeply inappropriate and not safe for work. Now, due to the explicit nature of these searches, I can't share them on YouTube, but just note that many of them were deeply unsettling and painted a troubling picture of the user behind them. However, this was only the beginning. As the weeks went on, user 927's searches grew darker, more specific, and far more disturbing. It went from looking up questionable stuff to searching for straight up illegal and harmful material. The unsettling nature of user 927's search history sparked widespread discussion and concern across the internet, even inspiring an off-Broadway play which delved into
Dude, imagine you are this person. And you know, just looking at the search history, that it's you. You would be shitting bricks at the fact that this got put out there.
themes of
Because given how terminally online this person clearly was, even back then, I bet they knew.
stalking, privacy, and the implications of our digital footprints. Despite their infamy, however, user 927 was never identified. All we know is that they were likely from Colorado based on a single search from the state's official government website. It's also likely that these searches were made on a shared family computer, since they often flip-flopped between wholesome searches and illegal not safe for work searches. Apart from that, the identity of user 927 remains a mystery to this day.
That's fucking crazy.
Translate anomalies. Near the end of 2017, a few users on 4chan noticed a bizarre phenomenon with Google Translate, where typing in incoherent and broken strings of characters led to eerily normal-sounding responses. For instance, typing the letter O and P repeatedly resulted in Google Translate telling the user to click on the image to view more. Similarly, using P and S instead produced something that resembled a snippet from an email. Now, it would have been easy to write it off as a coincidence.
How do people find this stuff, man?
Random characters accidentally forming something familiar, but as more people tested it, the more weirdly consistent the outputs became. Like the Translate app telling the user to go ahead and ask any questions they might have. Or in some instances, telling them that they have a chronic disease, a tendency to be infected with the virus, and that they will have a lot of pain. How could a nonsensical mix of characters produce such specific and sometimes threatening translations? At this point, the most reasonable explanation was that this was simply a glitch, perhaps an obscure bug in Google's Translate system. After all, most of these eerie translations occurred specifically when converting between Somali and English, suggesting a potential flaw in how the algorithm handled that language pair. But what made this seem unlikely was the amount of unique information Google Translate was showing in response to these requests, including things like a link to a Facebook post or what appeared to be an email address. In a similar vein, a few specific
Yeah, you have to be logged in to post a they're probably talking about mega upload. So it almost seems like it's pulling data from like a random Gmail account.
specific combinations also provided results that read like a private conversation between two people, stating things like, "You will be given the opportunity to be re-elected," and "This is a great way for you to come to our country." So, what is going on here? Unfortunately, despite the online interest, Google never acknowledged the problem, so we can only speculate. And while I did come across some wild theories suggesting that Google Translate was somehow a sentient AI trying to communicate outside of its intended purpose, these theories are of course not true. One possible theory is that this was the work of a rogue Google employee, someone who out of frustration or boredom decided to tamper with the system. Maybe they were trying to degrade the app's quality out of spite, or perhaps they simply wanted to leave behind a hidden Easter egg for others to discover. However, someone risking their lucrative career at Google for something this uneventful and niche is fairly hard to justify.
Good point.
From everything I've seen, the most plausible explanation is still the one mentioned earlier, that all of this was just a glitch or an overlooked bug in the system. As for the oddly specific bits of information, those could have come from any number of internal sources. Consider this: massive platforms like Gmail, Google Drive, and Search process billions of data points every day. So it's not hard to imagine a coding error causing Google Translate to inadvertently pull fragments from those interconnected services, which, if true, would be a real security and privacy threat. That said, I tried replicating the troubling prompts myself and came up empty. Whatever was causing the bizarre outputs seems to have been quietly patched out by Google since the story first broke out.
This is a fascinating video so far, I have to say. This is one of my favorite videos he's made in a while. I know I'm not saying a whole lot, but I'm just fascinated. I don't have a whole lot to say. I'm just enjoying it.
The Caver. On March 23, 2001, a man named Ted began sharing his caving experience in an online journal. The story started a few months earlier in December 30th, 2000, when Ted and his friend B were exploring a cave.
Really quick, I just want to say it's really insane to me how old even footage from like 2006 looks now. When I go back and look at TV footage from 2006, I swear it looks like the fucking 90s or the 80s now. It's insane without even realizing it how much better TV quality got, that going back to the year 2000 looks like some ancient found footage grindhouse movie.
They thought they knew well. But on this particular trip, they found something unexpected, a small hole on a wall near the cave's lowest point. As Ted kneeled down to get a closer look inside, he felt a faint breeze coming from the hole, suggesting there might be an entire unexplored cave system lying just beyond the narrow opening. The excitement of being the first people to explore this new section of the cave outweighed the inherent danger of venturing into the unknown. After surveying the area, Ted and B decided to widen the hole and carve out a passable corridor. About a month later, on the 27th of January, they began to chisel at the rock. But something felt strange. The two felt a suspiciously strong wind coming from the hole, followed by low, ominous rumbling from deep within the cave. They tried to rationalize these occurrences, thinking that the wind was just blowing a little stronger outside, and that the rumbling noise was coming from the trucks driving on the mountain road above the cave. So, despite the noise growing louder and more frequent, they pressed on. A decision they'd come to regret, as the sense of—
Yeah, they were actually just breaking into my domain, you know how I do when intruders try their shit.
of unease kept getting worse, fueled by a series of increasingly disturbing occurrences, like
this dog looking sussy and wide. I'm sorry.
Dog becoming agitated as soon as it reached the cave and refused to go anywhere near the hole, or the two hearing what Ted described as the most terrible scream he has ever heard from the hole, lasting nearly 10 seconds. Once the hole was big enough, Ted crawled through to the other side, only to be met by a massive, unnaturally round boulder sitting in the center of a small chamber. There were also hieroglyph-like drawings on the walls depicting people standing around a strange symbol. He took photos on his disposable Polaroid camera and came back. But when he tried to develop those pictures later that day, every photo he took of the round rock and its surroundings came out completely blank. They then tried recruiting another experienced caver, Joe, hoping a fresh perspective might help. However, Joe returned minutes after he went in, visibly shaken by the experience. He refused to speak about what he saw on the other side, and just stated that he would never enter that hole again.
I'm going to be honest, this sounds fake, and the only reason why I say that, there's a lot of people that think, oh, it's the year 2000, people weren't faking stuff on the internet yet. Oh no, they were. A perfect example is a whole year before this. You guys know the band Slipknot, surely. Well, on Slipknot's first album, they had 2 songs, one called Frail Limb Nursery and one called Purity. And Frail Limb Nursery actually sampled an audio clip from another fake, like horror-esque website in the year 1999 about, it was basically about a fake town, and it had all these fictional characters. And the story was that a girl got kidnapped and kept inside of a box. And they sampled a piece of audio from that website, and they actually got sued because the creator of the website came out and said, hey, you can't use that. So they admitted it was fake because it was their IP. So yes, as long as the internet's been around, people have been faking shit. And so this one seems to be sticking out to me as very, very fake. It's one of those early, like, OMG, you won't believe this paranormal stories. You know what I mean?
Left with no other choice, Ted decided to explore the new area himself. But as soon as he reached the other side, he began hearing the rock scraping sound again. He panicked and ran for the exit, only to see the round rock in a different position than it originally was. As he crawled through the hole, a nauseating stench began to fill the cave. Then, just as he and B reached the entrance, something tugged on their rope. In a panic, B slashed it with his knife, sending whatever was climbing up crashing back into the darkness. Yet, their story doesn't end there. In his May 19th, 2001 update, Ted talked about their plans to go back fully equipped, to solve the mystery and capture definitive proof of the insides with photos
And let me guess, this time, nothing was there.
and video footage. However, the updates never came, leaving readers to wonder what happened to Ted and B. Now, I should mention that back then, many online communities were skeptical about the authenticity of this story and internet rabbit hole. However, the irregular updates and accompanying photos were convincing enough to make many believe the story was real. But the story was completely fake. Back then, internet creepypastas, or fake horror stories presented as true, weren't really a thing, or at least weren't very common. Many people had no reason not to believe this story. Nowadays, the Ted the Caver story is often referred to as the internet's first creepypasta. In 2004, he joined a discussion about his story on a forum site and admitted he made it up. Apparently, they did explore the cave and actually took the pictures he posted on his journal, but everything about the round boulder, the drawings on the wall, and the chase at the end was completely fictional. However, none of this detracted from its position as the story that introduced the internet to creepypastas, a genre that's prevalent to this day.
Like the Macho Man bandana he's wearing too. That's cool.
Conspiracy. On the 20th
Oh yeah, so Blockbuster John was in here talking about this.
The glitter conspiracy.
And he was like telling me, do you know who buys the most glitter? And was telling me all this weird shit about glitter. I'm like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. And then he showed me a video that showed like the majority of glitter is purchased by the army or the military. And I'm like, cool, but what is that? Like, where's the conspiracy here? I didn't get it. So hopefully they expand on that a little bit here.
On the 21st of December 2018, New York Times posted an article titled, "What is Glitter?" This was supposed to be nothing more than an educational article on what glitter is and where it's used in our day-to-day lives. However, what its author didn't realize at the time was that this would ignite one of the most heavily debated rabbit holes in internet history. It started with an odd conversation between the article's writer and a manager from GlitterX, which is one of the largest glitter manufacturers in the US. When I asked Miss Dyer if she could tell me which industry served as GlitterX's biggest market, her answer was instant. "No, I absolutely know I can't." I was taken aback. "But you know what it is?" "Oh god, yes," she said and laughed. "You would never guess it. Let's just leave it at that." I asked if she could tell me why she couldn't tell me. "Because they don't want you to know that it's glitter. If I looked at it, I wouldn't know it was glitter?" "No, not really." "Would I be able to see the glitter?" "Oh, you'd be able to see something, but yeah, I can." The writer then asked if she could tell the buyer's name off record, but she refused completely. Not long after the article went live, someone posted their strange conversation on the Unresolved Mysteries subreddit, sparking a wave of speculation about
Oh yeah, didn't somebody also say it was toothpaste or something?
who this mysterious client could be. One of the top comments under this post pointed towards a potential use by law enforcement as an ID for explosives, reading, "Micro-taggins, multi-layered micro-glitter added to all commercial explosives. Simple to batch trace on-site after the detonation using only a microscope. Use dynamite for illegal purposes and leave evidence as clear as a fingerprint. Law enforcement probably don't want this fact circulating." And while this made some logical sense, others leaned toward crazier conspiracy-adjacent theories. Like, this one user claimed that the government spreads glitter on beaches to increase their sparkle and by extension attract more tourists. A few people also
I did, sick boy. I also got the Resident Evil chapter that has Rebecca, Ada, and Wesker.
suggested that the mystery buyer could be the US military, since glitter's reflective properties might make it useful for camouflaging equipment by deflecting radar signals. One user proposed a more unsettling theory that GlitterX's biggest client could be a toothpaste company using glitter to create the illusion of sparkling clean teeth. While the idea sounds absurd at first, it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility given how common microplastics are in personal care products. However, none of these theories hold much merit. Microplastics in personal care products, including toothpastes, were banned back in July 2017, over a year before the New York Times interview.
Ah, yes, because a product being banned definitely means that people stop using it immediately, right? Sure.
Contract theory is also completely detached from the truth. In reality, the radar-absorbing coating used for fighter jets is made from iron and ferrite, not shiny plastics. So, while these theories were fascinating to sift through, none of them actually answered the one question that started it all. Who was buying all the glitter? This remained a mystery for almost an entire year before someone managed to uncover the truth. On the 8th of November 2019, the Endless Thread podcast dropped an episode titled The Great Glitter Mystery, and this had the answer people were looking for. Apparently, the answer was boat manufacturers. This might sound odd at first, but it actually makes a lot of sense when you consider the shimmering, reflective paint used on many newer boats.
But why was she so secretive about it? She acted like it was a conspiracy and that she wasn't able to say anything. Why was she being all fucking secretive about this? This is such a mundane answer.
As for why GlitterX might be so secretive about the identity of their biggest client, one plausible reason could be environmental concerns. Glitter, especially the traditional kind made from microplastics, has been heavily criticized for its contribution to pollution, particularly in oceans where it can be harmful to marine life.
Okay.
So if it came out that companies were using it in boat paint and releasing untold amounts of microplastics into the ocean, it could spark public backlash or calls for regulation. In the end, the truth behind the glitter conspiracy was a lot more mundane than secret military contracts or explosive detection, leaving many to express their disappointment online.
Wow. Can some look at this Redditor, dude. Typical Reddit moment. Can't someone just hack their database and find their files and see who their, spelled incorrectly, biggest client is? Reddit, dude. It's something else.
Polybius. Polybius is the name of a rumored arcade game that had a limited release in 1981 and has since been lost to time. As the story goes, a single cabinet of the game was installed in a random arcade in Portland, Oregon in 1981. The cabinet was plain without any fancy graphics on the side.
Oh, by the way, sick boy, do you play DBD? Would you be down? Because I actually have a good IRL friend of mine who's really into the game, and he might play with us as well. So that might be fun to run like a 2 or 3 stack if Dude Core's also going to play.
The gameplay was described as weird and puzzle-like with action elements. This gameplay is also rumored to be surprisingly addictive. There are reports of teens spending hours playing this game, to the point of getting dizzy and even fainting. However, there were also several claims suggesting that the dizziness and fainting were actually side effects of government-led mind control experiments conducted through the game. You see, according to the myth, men dressed in black suits would regularly visit the arcade, not to play Polybius, but to collect data from the machine, like on behalf of the CIA or some other 3-letter agency. The cabinet also reportedly remained in arcades for only a brief period before mysteriously disappearing without a trace. This mix of addictive gameplay, side effects like amnesia and nightmares, combined with the alleged Men in Black sightings, cemented Polybius in urban legend history. But here's the thing, there's no concrete proof the game ever actually existed.
Yeah, I think Ashen's made a video about Polybius, and I think even AVGN or Cinemassacre did. And they got into a bunch of hot water because they stole like all their information from one lady that wrote an article about it.
Official records, no contemporary newspaper articles,
you hate to see it.
Nothing verifiable from 1981 mentions it. The only, quote, real evidence of its existence is this screenshot of the title screen, which looks a bit too advanced for its era, and this grainy black and white picture of an allegedly real Polybius cabinet. The high noise, overblown exposure, and overall low resolution makes it near impossible to extract any details. However, given the overall shape of the cabinet, this was likely a repurposed Namco cabinet with its stickers removed. And even if these images are real, there are no sources dating back to the 1980s that could verify their authenticity. In fact, from what I was able to find, one of the earliest mentions of Polybius in any gaming magazine or website was in the year 2000 on a website called coinop.org. The legend did become widespread enough to inspire enthusiasts into building their own real-life Polybius arcade cabinets. However, I wasn't able to find a single piece of evidence matching its original description. So, where did the story come from? It's likely a fascinating case of collective memory blending fact and fiction. As a comment on Reddit noted, Polybius wasn't real, but it was inspired by stories of surreal 80s vector games, people playing arcade games for too long and getting sick, and teens doing shady things that resulted in authorities coming into arcades.
Yeah, now the company is known as Bandai Namco. They're a merged company, but Namco did make a lot of really cool shit. Like, I think, weren't they the original ones that made, like, Pac-Man, Joust, Dig Dug? Like, they had some really, really popular arcade games in the 80s.
Think of it this way.
And Galaga.
The early 80s saw visually intense vector graphic games like Tempest, which could be quite disorienting, especially in a dimly lit, smoke-filled
Tempest is an awesome game.
Arcades were also rowdy places where teenagers pushed boundaries, sometimes prompting authorities to monitor them for reasons like truancy or gambling. It's plausible that these separate, real occurrences, getting eye strain from a vector game, feeling ill after a marathon session, seeing officials in an arcade, morphed and merged over time into the singular, terrifying narrative of Polybius. Or it's also possible that the Polybius myth was the masterwork of a single, imaginative individual. Someone who managed to craft one of the most talked about rabbit holes.
Yeah, and Tekken. You know, a little game called Tekken that you might know of.
In the history
Pretty cool
of
game.
internet gaming folklore. The Box of Crazy. On November 4th, 2013, Reddit user TramStopDan posted an Imgur album on the What's in This Thing subreddit titled Large Box Full of Odd Illustrations of an Event, aka The Box of Crazy, found by the trash bins. On the surface, this
the
looked
box
like
of Dr. Crazy. Where's Dr. Crazy at, dude?
nothing more than an antique wooden briefcase.
We're looking at his
Its contents
briefcase.
told a completely different story. Inside, there were hundreds of documents containing text records of alleged UFO sightings, diagrams and schematics for complex otherworldly machinery, and hand-drawn illustrations of disturbing demonic creatures. The box also contained a lot of handwritten notes from the creator of all these illustrations, Daniel Christensen, as well as several maps and globe projections. Much of it was cryptic and difficult to decipher. However, even after reviewing just a small portion, it became clear that this was the work of someone who was deeply unwell. Some of his notes hinted at the possibility of him being a World War II veteran, which could explain the origin of his mental illness. However, that wasn't what started his fascination with aliens and extraterrestrial life forms. Some of the earliest documents in the box were from 1937, with some of the newest ones dating to 1977. In other words, Daniel remained fixated on this topic for over 4 decades. However, his earlier work was a lot tamer and more legible than whatever he came up with in his later years, hinting at his deteriorating mental health. As for the actual contents of this box, however, one particular topic stood out above the rest: his account of the incident that happened on July 7th, 1977.
Tampa Bay tornado. I was gonna say, like, these illustrations are incredibly detailed. So, you know, post-traumatic stress. I mean, no, he was writing some of these before the war kicked off, or at least we were involved in it. So he was omega talented either way, but yeah.
According to Daniel, Tampa Bay was hit by a tornado on that day, but that tornado was just to disguise alien ships used to make contact with Earth without getting spotted. He created several detailed illustrations of what he saw that day, and it's bizarre to say the least. In reality, there were no records of a tornado or any other extreme weather event happening in Tampa Bay on the 7th of July. That said, Daniel didn't choose this day at random. You see, a lot of Daniel's illustrations of the 7th of July include this same building as the center point for alien descent. This was the inverted pyramid on the St. Petersburg Pier in Tampa. Coincidentally, this building was also lit up with a massive laser light show installation on July 7th, 1977. So it's highly likely that Daniel witnessed this laser show, misinterpreted it as an alien encounter, and then spiraled into an obsession to document what he genuinely believed was a life-changing event. And the craziest part is, this was only a fraction of the work he'd produced in his lifetime. This is because, as the story gained traction online, a Reddit user named That's My Box came forward, claiming that she was the previous owner of the wooden box TramStopDan found. And apparently she was telling the truth. She moved into a new home in the 90s where she found a room full of Daniel's work. This included a chair-like machine he'd constructed, which, according to his notes, was the device he'd used for an out-of-body experience and time travel. Unfortunately, most of Daniel's stuff had to be thrown out, which is how Tram Stop Dan found the box. It really makes you wonder what other mind-bending contraptions, bizarre concepts, or odd events he might have noted down on paper during his lifetime.
Yeah, that's I don't even know what to say about that, man. There's got to be a Reddit. There's got to be either a subreddit page or just some blog spot or something that has everything in that box digitized by this point. I guarantee you there has to be. But I would love to see it.
On November 5th, 2015, an anonymous user posted a thread on 4chan talking about a strange conversation they had with a girl at work. The girl he talked with was, at the time, homeless and in a band. She also worked for a really shady company that was in the process of closing down. One day, her supervisors gave her and another employee 2 tape guns and instructed them to pack boxes. However, the tape in one of these guns had the word Eratas written on it. When she inquired about this word, her coworker told her to get rid of the tape gun and to not mention the word to any of the supervisors. Apparently, he used to work in IT, and one of his jobs was to flag employees who searched this term so they could be fired. The OP was curious about what Eratas meant. However, this was also the first time other 4chan users had encountered the word, so they couldn't offer much help in figuring out what it meant either. But then a month later, on December 19th, another anonymous user brought up Eratas again, hinting that it was some HR-related computer program. But this time, the OP received an answer, which defined Eratas as a program that allows some specific third-party company unconditional access to employee information. This reply also mentioned major brands like UPS, Unilever, and Ecolab. About one more month later, on January 25th, a user on the music board talked about wanting to make music from obscure YouTube videos. They also included a list of video links they were interested in. The second of these links led to a video titled, "YouTube is monitoring and controlling my
with the America Online logo too. That's interesting.
life," that was posted just 2 days before the 4chan post. The owner of the channel that posted this video, Chronos for Life Jurassic Park, believed that he was being targeted by Eratas. This, along with a now-deleted Q&A video Chronos posted later, gave people a clearer picture of Eratas' true nature. Eratas, as many came to understand it, was a mass surveillance and censorship software allegedly used by powerful entities to securely monitor the public. What made Eratas so terrifyingly effective was its ability to erase its own existence. It would detect any time someone mentioned it across the internet and remove that reference without a trace.
Dude, this is crazy. Yeah, this gets into... I'm just gonna let it play.
Did a video titled "Here Goes Nothing" as bait for Eratas, hoping the advanced algorithm would target and delete the video, thereby proving it was real. But that wasn't all. Turning on captions revealed that the video also had hidden messages at several points throughout its runtime. Decoding these messages led to a fake address that was listed on the profile of a band called KFC Murder Chicks. This band featured homeless girls, and surprisingly, one of them reportedly worked in a warehouse, just like the mysterious girl who told the first 4chan user about Eratas. Looking further into this band revealed a YouTube upload of one of their songs which had the word Eratas in its description as well. The channel that uploaded this video, Todd Ellsworth, also had a relatively empty Twitter account with the word. The only noteworthy post on this account was this creepy, elongated portrait of a man. By this point, many people who were following the mystery assumed that Todd and the KFC Chicks band had something to do with Eratas. Or at least they knew something about this advanced algorithm that no one else did. But when asked about it, they denied having any knowledge about the term. Unfortunately, that's where the lead stopped. Users had so much information and connection points between various groups and people.
Not to be cynical, but sounding a lot like an ARG so far.
But it led to nowhere. This left Eratas as just another unsolved mystery of the internet. That is until August 2020, when a YouTuber called Toxicologist managed to get an interview with a
ARG. How did I know? How did I know? You guys saw it before I clicked on the video. I've never watched this video before. How the fuck did I know? You know, when you've seen hundreds of these, probably closing in on 1,000 videos over my lifetime that I've watched of things like this, I just know.
Person named DJ Roswell. As it turned out, Roswell was behind everything from the very beginning. He was the leader of the KFC Murder Chicks band and wanted to promote his band with an ARG. So he was the one who created the lore surrounding Eratas and every puzzle piece connecting to it. As for this unsettling image, this turned out to just be a police sketch of a horrible criminal from Hawaii that had nothing to do with the band or the ARG.
Bro needs at least 5 extra years of jail time for that lipstick. What the fuck?
To use this picture because it was attention grabbing. Unfortunately for Roswell, people weren't able to progress through the storyline fast enough, and many lost interest over time, giving a tragically mundane ending to the mystery of Eritas. Alan Tutorial. In June 2011, a YouTube channel called Alan Tutorial uploaded its first video called How to Leak on a Piece of Paper. This 1 minute and 15-second video didn't make any logical sense and was just a jumbled mess of random actions.
You rip off a piece of paper, and you're gonna put the paper on the floor. Next thing you do is
This is the type of shit that shows up in my algorithm at 4 in the morning. No lie.
the fork, and you're gonna have to run a hole inside.
The channel began producing videos of obscure tutorials like teaching users how to make a windmill from household items, or how to fill a tiny bin with dirt. However, as time went on, users began to notice the mental health of the creator, Alan, begin to deteriorate. He went from gleefully explaining some illogical concepts to crying during tutorials and getting accidentally hurt while trying to make the video. This marked a shifting point in the channel where it went from silly to often downright disturbing, and no video encapsulates this better than the one titled Disc Tutorial. It shows the host, Alan, getting kidnapped in a truck and slipping over his own blood, all while trying to make his usual tutorial. Even in captivity, Alan continued creating content with whatever he had access to, at one point even resorting to reading the news on camera just to stay connected with his audience. All of this, of course, turned out to be nothing more than a fictional storyline created by art student Alan Resnick. And while many of his longtime viewers understood this, newer viewers stumbling across his uploads out of context often couldn't make sense of what they were
I bet some of them probably called the police.
watching, with a concerned comment under the disc tutorial video reading, "Either this guy is a brilliant actor / art student, or something weird is happening and none of us suspect anything because we all think he's a brilliant actor / art student. I'm starting to have my doubts." All of this came to an end in December of 2014 when Alan posted his final video simply titled Tutorial, a nearly 2-minute upload in which Alan finds a way to bust through a wall and escape his captor, never to be seen again. Ever since this conclusion, fans have gone back and analyzed each video to find the hidden meaning and bits of lore. According to the most popular interpretation, the character Alan Resnick created suffers from autism and was living with his older brother and his girlfriend who didn't like him. This explains why he ends up homeless at one point, as his uncaring family kicks him out. Some users have also speculated that the reason he's crying in the blue chair tutorial video is because it reminds him of the way he found his mother after her death. This theory is supported by the video's description, which reads, "If your chair is on the floor, here's how you get it back and pick up all the pieces of something
Dude, these views, holy shit.
broken and unfair." However, creator Alan Resnick has never confirmed or denied any of these theories, choosing to leave his years-long art project open for interpretation instead.
You know what that reminds me of? Have you guys, I forget what the name of the channel was, but there was this lady who did what's called mukbangs, which is where you just eat a shit ton of food on camera. And I don't know if it was ever confirmed or not, but there was one video where she was eating just an ungodly amount of seafood, and you could hear her almost choke on some of the food, and then you heard somebody in the background say, "Just fucking eat it," like really low under their breath. And I think her channel, like after that video, just never uploaded again. It kind of reminds me of that. Like, we don't know if there was something abusive going on there or what, but I'm pretty sure she just disappeared off the internet after that video. I'd have to look it up, but yeah, it was fucking crazy.
House Has People in It. This House Has People in It is an analog horror short film that was aired on Adult Swim back in March 2016. The short is often known for just how weird and disturbing its concept is. It was directed by Alan Resnick, the creator and actor of the Alan Tutorial channel we just discussed. Though, unlike Alan Tutorial, which started off a bit lighthearted and slowly descended into absolute madness, This House Has People in It wastes no time pulling viewers into its surreal, unsettling world. It starts with the footage of someone logging into a computer and choosing a specific video to play. The footage then cuts to the CCTV feed from a house with 9 cameras, and then cuts again to the main couple, Tom and Ann, arguing about where to go for vacation.
No, it's not that expensive. Orlando's expensive. All the hotels and all the...
Remember when Adult Swim was actually interesting and would show stuff like this?
And And immediately
I
something
do.
is extremely wrong with the situation as we see a person lying on the kitchen floor while the couple ignores them completely. From there, we also see a repairman working in the basement and the son Jackson watching TV in the living room that is decorated for his birthday. We also learn that the person lying on the kitchen floor is Tom and Ann's teenage daughter, Madison. She had a fight with Ann 2 hours ago and has been lying there in anger ever since. After a few minutes, Tom tries to pick Madison up, only to make a disturbing discovery.
Dead.
Prime links. That is disgusting.
Madison appears to be completely stuck on the floor. The
Hey,
situation
what's up, Siren?
then goes from bad to horrific as Madison starts sinking through the kitchen floor. The repairman tries to help by putting a plank on Madison's face to stop her from sinking through. However, that does not work, resulting in Tom having a complete meltdown in the basement.
I'm ready for it, you! I'm ready for anything! Beautiful. You've always been so beautiful. You need to stop right now!
Yeah, this is an Adult Swim short that was made by an art student called "This House Has People in It." I've never heard of this in my life.
Left with no other option, they make a final-ditch effort to save their daughter by placing a mattress underneath her. We eventually see Madison fall onto the mattress, which then immediately cuts to a shot of the mattress without her, implying that she fell through the basement floor as well. The short ends with the guests who gathered for Jackson's birthday lying down in the yard just like Madison, while Tom and Ann are freaking out inside. The short seems to carry a major theme of neglect that's prevalent throughout. For instance, we see Madison lie on the kitchen floor for 2 hours before Tom and Ann talk directly to her. Jackson is completely neglected by his parents. The baby doesn't have food in her bowl, and when Tom hands the baby to Grandma, she immediately sets it down, which ultimately results in her crawling out of the house. As a comment on YouTube puts it, I think the title, "This House Has People in It," is referring to this is a house, not a home. We are just people who live together, not a family. However, this was just the tip of the iceberg. You see, this short was released with a now defunct website called absurveillancesolutions.com. Visiting this site unlocked a fully functional ARG, which in turn unlocked hours of additional footage, dozens of images, and even chat logs between the family. Viewers also uncovered additional plot points hidden within the extended media, including one about a mysterious disease slowly spreading throughout the world of the film. It's so extensive that even 9 years after its release, fans still aren't sure if they've uncovered everything hidden within it.
That's super cool, man. That's super, super cool. Hey, what's up, Shadow? So we just watched 10 disturbing internet rabbit holes explained, but we still have another one called 5 most disturbing 4chan threads.
Gas mask.
So don't worry, you haven't missed much. Ready? Part 2. Dude, I was watching this stupid fucking video a couple days ago that was like, you know, when a serious movie says the name of it versus when a superhero movie says the name of it. Like when you're going to the theater and the movie says its own name. And a guy was sitting there and it was fake, obviously, but on the screen he goes, "You know what has to be done. After all, I am the Godfather." Part 2. And then he goes, "Oh, that is cinema." And then it changes to the superhero version. He's like, "What are you guys? Some type of Fantastic Four?" And he just goes, "Oh, God, make it stop." He's got a point, though.
On the 19th of September 2017, an anonymous 4chan user posted a picture of a gas mask, 2 bottles of vinegar, and a jug of bleach.
Damn, we got a full house tonight. What's up, Shadow, Doc, Kendo, Dudecore, Sick Boy, Siren? We are fucking chilling right now, dude. What is going on, you guys?
Captioned,
Full house for this Nightmare Fuel, and we're rolling right into a pseudo-horror game right after.
"About to test out this gas mask." While some brushed it off,
You weren't an afterthought, dude. I just listing people. You're not an afterthought.
thinking that the OP was just messing around, a few showed genuine curiosity and egged on the OP to continue his experiment. Okay, post results if you live. However,
Wow.
This curiosity turned into concern when the OP returned with an update 20 minutes later, stating, "What could go wrong? We'll report." Alongside this, he posted a picture of the vinegar being poured into a mysterious yellow substance, which looked shockingly similar to concentrated
That's because I was
chlorine
scrolling up.
gas. For those who don't know, chlorine gas is a deadly war chemical that was used by the German army during the First World War. More importantly, the only chemicals needed to synthesize this dangerous gas are bleach and vinegar, the exact materials OP had with him. The OP either didn't know about the gas or seriously underestimated its danger. Unfortunately,
Yeah, WW1. That is a fucking terrible idea. He might actually have died.
by the time he realized the gravity of his situation, it was already too late.
That's a lot, too. Holy shit, that's a lot.
Because just a few minutes later, he returned with a disturbing update. Holy, it hurts. Might have to go to the hospital. This also included a picture that showed his arm developing blisters and turning an alarming shade of red. These symptoms matched perfectly with known signs of chlorine gas exposure, sparking immediate concern for the safety of OP and anyone in his vicinity. You fool, that will burn your skin.
You
and
fucking fool. Well, here comes 4chan with the positive reinforcement. You fucking fool.
soak into your surroundings. Legit question, please tell me you don't have an apartment/pets or roommates. Depending on your mixture, you just messed up big time. Let's say you made only 4 ounces of gas. That comes out to 29,962 parts per million. Concentrations of about 400 parts per million and above are generally fatal over 30 minutes, and at 1,000 parts per million and above, fatality ensues within only a few minutes. Dude, go vent yourself somewhere and literally bathe with a garden hose. You are going to melt otherwise. It acts on flesh, not just on breathing pathways. It melts flesh, which makes people drown in their own melted lungs, but your arms can get messed up too. While the other users were panicking, the OP made 2 other posts, each showing his arm in increasingly worse condition. It's starting to peel and fall off, still hurts, with his last reply simply stating, "Goodbye." After posting this update, the OP vanished from the thread, leading many to believe that he might have actually passed away due to this experiment gone wrong. Some even claimed the incident had taken the lives of several of his neighbors. However, despite extensive searching, I wasn't able to find any news reports mentioning such a gruesome incident. If something of this magnitude had actually happened, it would have definitely made headlines. More importantly, I couldn't find a single credible source confirming just the OP's death either.
Fake?
In other words, we don't know what happened to him after his last post. The lack of any news coverage could suggest that the OP may have survived the chlorine gas exposure, possibly after calling emergency services and being rushed to the hospital. But that's highly unlikely. Even in moderate concentration, chlorine gas can end someone's life in minutes. Yet the OP kept posting about his worsening state for over 30 minutes after creating the deadly chemical. Which brings us to the other possibility, that this whole thing was completely fake from the beginning. To some viewers, the peeling skin on his arm looks suspiciously like makeup, or at most some well-done special effects. A now deleted user on Reddit even added a personal anecdote to back this theory, stating, "I have a face mask exfoliator that goes on wet and looks pretty much the same as Anon's skin in the first pic, and peels off like the following pics.
Anon?
See how the skin is peeling off and shows regular skin underneath? If he was actually burned, the skin underneath would look red and or bleeding. He probably just grabbed one of his girlfriend's exfoliators and slapped it on because it looked red enough to fool people." If the whole thing was staged, it would also explain some of the strange behavior.
Reddit at it again.
Things like, why did he stay in the bathroom with the hazardous gas for so long instead of rushing out immediately? And how was he able to endure the excruciating pain he must have been in, all while
Yeah, a
taking
4chan user having a girlfriend, or a Reddit user having a girlfriend, that already makes this story have zero credibility.
framed still pictures of his arm. However, despite all the signs suggesting it was a complete hoax, there's still no definitive way to know for sure. Maybe one day a news article will be found that announced the OP's death, or perhaps the OP will come forward and reveal the truth. Until then, the gas mask incident remains one of the most disturbing threads in 4chan history. Bank robber. On August 20, 2015, a 4chan user posted...
Yeah, we definitely had some edgy kids that would browse, like right as the iPhone was coming into prominence, like around the time of the iPhone 3GS and the iPhone 4. A bunch of kids would just go to school and browse B all the time. And one of them actually got suspended for it because he had some very, very graphic stuff up on it and got caught. So, yeah.
Posted his plans to rob a bank later that day, stating, "Okay, today is the day. I'm going to walk into the bank at 3 p.m. with sunglasses, a hat, a sweater, a BB gun, and this note. I'll get out, dump the sweater and BB gun, and ride out on my bike back to the hotel. I'm serious. Wish me luck. Alongside this was a picture of a handwritten note that he planned to hand over to the bank teller, stating things like, I want $5,000, $150 bills only, and I have a gun in my jacket. However, threads like these aren't anything new on 4chan. More often than not, it's just some anonymous user who's bored, trolling, or desperate for attention. So, despite the OP's insistence on being serious about his plans, this one seemed no different. One user even recognized the OP from a previous thread where he talked about robbing the bank for $20,000 instead.
Keck, is this the same guy that said he was going to rob a bank in Jacksonville? I thought you were going to get 20K.
To make matters worse, the OP didn't use a VPN before, allowing someone to trace his approximate location back to Jacksonville. By this point, most users saw the OP as nothing more than a clueless wannabe. However, while everyone
and you know what? I bet this actually motivated him to do it even more, because he's like, well, I'll fucking show you. Stop trolling me, dude. I'll go do it for real.
Making fun of him, the OP did what no one expected. He followed through with his plans, setting off a manhunt that would last for weeks. It started with him showing off the BB gun he brought to the robbery and getting drunk to calm his nerves. From there, he stayed active in the thread and kept everyone updated on his whereabouts. He also ditched anonymity and began posting under the AnonDump username so others could follow his updates more easily. Minutes before the planned time, he posted about someone stealing his bike, which he was going to use for the robbery, before going completely silent. This led many to believe that the plan was cancelled, but around 25 minutes later, AnonDump returned with images of the money he stole, along with a detailed description of what he did and what he was doing next. However, while he saw himself as a master criminal, the police weren't far behind. His hat and glasses did little to hide his identity, allowing investigators to plaster his face across.
That's all he wore? There's barely any coverage, dude. Handed a note to the teller, indicating he had a gun and wanted money. He said the man never actually showed a gun, but the teller gave him an undisclosed amount of cash and he left on foot.
His identity, allowing investigators to plaster his face across news networks. They also put a $3,000 reward for any information that could lead to his arrest. This left the OP fearing for his life as the gravity of his actions began to sink in. Hey guys, guy who robbed the bank here. My face is on the news and there's a $3,000 reward for tips leading to my capture. I'm scared. Robbing a bank wasn't worth it at all. I have like $4,800 left. I'm scared of leaving the hotel. I want to get out of here, but somebody may see me. I'm trapped. And this fear was justified. He was now a fugitive who was being actively pursued by the police. On top of that, he also had a BB gun on him, which looked like a real gun at first glance. If the officers barged into his hotel room and saw this gun nearby, there was a real possibility he could lose his life over a relatively small amount. Despite his growing fear, he continued updating everyone on 4chan about his whereabouts until the 21st of August around 3 p.m. when, after hiding in a hotel room for nearly 24 hours, he managed to escape the city and vanish from the thread. Now, it's unclear what happened next, but based on what I've seen, it's likely the investigators were already monitoring his updates on 4chan, and his post about taking a cab from the hotel gave them the lead they needed to track him down. On September 2nd, 2015, authorities arrested 26-year-old Pedro Smith, aka AnonDump, about 70 miles from the crime scene in Gainesville. He was charged with armed robbery and faced a minimum of 10 years in prison. However, after a trial in September, he was sentenced to only 3 years in prison, which didn't make sense to some people on the internet. How did he get away with such a light sentence after robbing a bank and hiding from the police for so many days?
Probably because it was a relatively low amount. He didn't have a real gun, and probably it was his first offense, and he showed remorse on the 4chan threads. I bet his lawyers probably used those excuses to the maximum to try and lighten the sentence. It was probably a combination of all four, to be honest with you.
A few people looked into his whereabouts after his release in March of 2018 and discovered that he was living in a luxurious home worth over $1.5 million in Miami. This pointed to the possibility that he had wealthy parents who could also afford top-tier lawyers to help reduce his sentence. In other words, the only reason Pedro had for robbing a bank and potentially risking his life was to gain the attention and approval of other users on 4chan.
A rich kid, that adds up. Yeah. Or money. You know, those four logical things I said, or money, could have also lightened the sentence. You know how money just has a way of making things happen.
And videos is some of the sketchiest research I do on this channel. Everything is anonymous, so you'll see
Ads.
5 go to be a 4chan user made up
Chilling scares. I appreciate that you have ads, but I ain't watching that, little bro.
post seeking information about a disturbing picture they recently came across. It read, on one of the recent
Hey, here's your thread, Siren. The paranormal board.
iceberg chart threads, someone mentioned the Monon tunnels not being on the iceberg. When I went to Google what these tunnels were, the only results I got were the original thread and pic related. Does anyone know more about it? I don't know how to read EXIF data. Coupled with the post was an image that looked like the aftermath of a horrific crime scene. It depicts 2 masked figures standing in a grass field at night, their index fingers raised towards the sky. Behind them is what looks like the remains of a young child in a red jacket, lying face down on the grass. Unfortunately, no one on 4chan had any clue what the OP was talking about either. One user did claim to have seen a similar image back in the 2000s when they first started using 4chan, but they didn't provide any further information. The contents of the image also divided the community in two. Some speculated that this was the trophy photo the 2 men took after ending a life. They look like hunters posing with a fresh kill, while others weren't so convinced. I feel like this might just be some kind of photo shoot. You know, like a bunch of kids hanging out and they decided why not take some pictures. Which led them to
probably.
taking this picture just for them to show it around on the internet for shock or something. Which begs the question, what is this really? I tried searching for answers myself, however information surrounding this image is surprisingly hard to come by. For starters, the OP mentioned an iceberg chart thread in their post, but never provided the link or even the name of the thread. Looking at the image itself, there's not much we can gather from it either.
Except that it's incredibly low quality. I'm sorry. The paranormal board is full of this shit. This photo was from 2018, allegedly. Why is the quality so dog shit? Even if it was in the middle of the night with a flash, it wouldn't look this bad. Anytime you see a photo that's intentionally noise filtered up to make it look spooky, that's your number one sign that it's bullshit.
No visible landmarks or even stars in the sky that could help us pinpoint the location where the image was taken. The only clue we have is the name, the Monon Tunnels, referring to the tiny town called Monon, Indiana. But even that's not much help, since the town is littered with hundreds of flat grass patches that could have served as the backdrop for this image. The camera noise makes it near impossible to estimate the year this image was taken based on the image quality as well. And there wasn't any useful information in its embedded data either. I also couldn't find any exact matches on the internet outside the original 4chan through reverse image searching. However, while looking for similar images, I came across something that could potentially clue us into the origin of this unsettling image. You see, there are 2 distinct possibilities for what it represents. First is that it was taken by a couple of serial killers as trophy photo proof of their
Stars? What do you mean stars? I don't think the stars would be able to track them. Unless you got super nerdy about it and started looking at like astrological star formations and exactly what formations were out that particular night. I don't know how that would work. Oh, they will rabbit hole about literally anything, as we've seen already.
horrible crime. But I wasn't able to find any matching incident that happened in Monon or its surrounding area. Even if the killers were never caught, there would still probably be a report where the victim's description aligns with the person we see in the image. Which leads us into the second, more likely possibility. This was simply a group of friends, and the person lying in the background is actually an adult who likely passed out after a night of drinking. Now, there's no way to know if the disturbing feel of the image was intentional or not, but the possibility of this being a completely harmless picture is fairly high. Reverse image searching it brings up hundreds of similar photos, with people having fun and lying down on a patch of grass at night. That being said, this is nothing more than conjecture on my part, and the reality could be anything. Then there's also the question of how the OP got their hands on this image if it's nowhere else to be found on the internet. Sadly, it's been over 7 years since the original thread, meaning it's unlikely we'll ever uncover the truth.
Might not even be a person. Yeah, it could very easily just be a setup photo.
Spoon and duct tape.
Bet I could find it. Man said, let me crack my knuckles and do some research. I'm gonna Google it, and I'm not going past the first page.
Experiment. On the 9th of April 2010, an anonymous 4chan user posted a fun science experiment for others to try. The instructions were as follows. Go to your kitchen and find a nice metal spoon. Teaspoons work too, but normal ones are better. Get yourself a lighter. The bigger the flame, the better. Get some duct tape and wrap it around the handle, about 4 to 6 layers. Start heating up the spoon with the lighter. Make it really, really hot. Holding it just above the flame for about 2 minutes.
Isn't this how you cook heroin or some shit?
Go to a faucet and turn on cold water at full force. Hold the spoon directly under the faucet. Post results. At first glance, this experiment looked like it had something to do with steam. Maybe pressing the hot spoon under the faucet would instantly vaporize the water, filling the room with a sudden burst of steam or fog, something along those lines. When, in reality, the results were much worse. Whoever thought of this wicked experiment...
This injured a lot of people.
So with the intention of hurting people. And unfortunately, their plan worked better than they could have expected. Within the first hour of the thread going live, nearly a dozen people had injured themselves attempting to follow the instructions. I thought, hey, what could go wrong? And I tried it. At first, it steamed in my face like crazy, and then the spoon started ticking and split into 3 parts, one shooting through a plate, one through a cut, and the last barely missed me. I don't believe this, so I thought I would try this, expecting something cool would happen, like a lot of smoke. But instead, I got a shrapnel spoon. It nearly exploded in my hand and shards went off in all directions, causing me to take cover. This nearly cost me my life. I'm not coming here again. OP, why? I covered my face expecting steam. My hands are bleeding so much it hurts. No one do this. Extreme cooling causes metals to burst.
Why would you do it in
Now,
the first place?
4chan is no stranger to causing widespread harm with these cool experiments, like the one I covered in my previous 4chan video. However, this one stood out for just how dangerously destructive it was. It used extremely common household items like duct tape and a spoon. And because it didn't involve any chemicals, people were far less cautious about just how dangerous it could be. According to one explanation, heating the spoon causes the inner layers of the tape to become extremely hot, almost to the point of melting, while the outer layers remain cool enough to still touch. Then, as the hot spoon comes under cold water, it quickly cools down. But since the inner tape around the handle is still scorching hot, it causes extreme temperature and pressure differences within the spoon, causing it to explode, sending shrapnel everywhere. And while the damage on 4chan was already immense, that was only the beginning. From there, this experiment spread like wildfire to other popular forum sites like Newgrounds, claiming even more victims in the process.
Yeah, if you see a post that says, "Sup guys, try this cool thing," like, you have to know. I mean, come on now, you have to know. Wait, what? Not to do that shit.
Fire to other popular forum sites like Newgrounds, claiming even more victims in the process. The only silver lining here is that the spoon and duct tape experiment copy pasta has since faded into obscurity. So, at the very least, it hopefully won't be causing any more injuries.
Yeah, they made toxic gas. We watched that one too.
Epileptic attack. Back in 2008, some 4chan users got together and came up with one of the most cruel pranks in the site's history. Now, unfortunately, most of that thread has been lost to time. The only surviving proof I could find was this screenshot detailing what to do, stating, "Epileptic forum raid. 1. Make account. 2. Spam flashing gifs, party hard, etc. 3. Troll the user base. 4. Question marks. 5. Profit." Their target was the Epilepsy Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to supporting individuals with epilepsy and helping them find the care they need. After agreeing on a plan, the group of anonymous users headed over to the Foundation's website and exploited a security vulnerability to gain unrestricted access to the support forum. From there, they used a script to post hundreds of messages embedded with flashing animated GIFs with hopes of catching visitors off guard and triggering seizures. Tragically, this was just as effective as they expected. Within seconds of the attack, dozens of users began experiencing intense migraines, with some even suffering full-blown seizures.
Dude, the mid-2000s
and experiencing intense migraines, with some even
was such a fucking Wild West period of time on the internet. Like, I feel like the mid to late 2000s was when the absolute worst stuff happened on these sites.
Suffering full-blown seizures. One of the site's visitors, 33-year-old Rianne Foltz, described her painful experience in a later interview, stating, "It was a spike of pain in my head, and the lockup that only happens with really bad ones. I don't think I've had a seizure like that in about a year." She was just one of many victims that were swept up in what can only be described as a truly evil act. All the while, the fortunate
what's up, Dave?
attackers were celebrating their victory, laughing at the victim's pain, and calling the attack incredible and amazing. Fortunately, the Epilepsy Foundation's IT department managed to quickly take control of the situation before it escalated into a widespread crisis. And while I couldn't find any solid proof, a few sources suggest that the attack may have triggered an FBI investigation. Unfortunately, because of 4chan's anonymity, the people responsible for this horrible attack were never identified or held accountable.
Wow, 2 excellent videos. And again, drop a like for my man Chilling Scares. I will do it as well. What a great video, man. Great video. Yeah, I tell you, man, the mid to late 2000s and early 2010s, some of the absolute worst, like most pure evil fucking pranks happened on that site. And that is, both of those were perfect examples of that. I mean, that is just, oh man. I mean, the spoon thing is one thing. That's dangerous enough, but that could have actually killed people and might have potentially like put people in the ER. Because imagine somebody had a seizure while they were home alone and there was nobody to, you know, transport them, and they weren't cognizant enough or conscious enough to call 911 themselves. Oh, man. Well, we've only talked about this about 1,000 times tonight, but I wanted to show you guys. Dave, Siren, Doc, all you guys. Check out this AI-generated streamer. Randomly yeah, I've seen that. We watched that on one of our Nightmare Fuel videos. We also saw one about a homeless girl living in a guy's attic for like weeks and weeks, and he originally was wondering where his food was disappearing to and thought he was like having memory problems.
Okay, so this
I just want to show this because it's been fascinating me and also simultaneously freaking me out all day. This is Google's new AI prompt called Veo 3, and somebody typed in, the text that they typed in was overly excited live streamer playing Minecraft. Look.
Okay, so this is how you start. You find a tree and you just like, you know, punch it down.
Yeah, that person isn't real. And they also did one with Fortnite as well.
Yes!
Now this one, you can tell because the on-screen elements make no sense. But look at this.
Oh my god. Yes! Woo! Victory!
You can even hear the little clicks from his keyboard.
Oh my god. Yes! Woo! Victory Royale with a pickaxe! Woo!
How crazy is that, dude? Neither of these are real people. Overly excited apparently means on meth, according to that. It's over for soy creators. Dude, I was saying, what about political streamers? Your affiliation doesn't matter, but like most of the time political streamers, they just react to videos, make snarky comments, and like just talk about videos. Like you could very easily just replicate that with an AI personality, you know? That wouldn't be hard at all. AI gonna take over the world? It's getting pretty scary, man. It really is. There's a ton of Asmongold AI out there already. Oh my god, did you guys see that Asmongold is like the number 8 most popular search term in the world on Google? He was above Kendrick Lamar in the NBA. What the fuck? In the world, not just the US, in the world. That is insane. He's literally more popular than the NBA, which is popular worldwide, and Kendrick Lamar, who's a worldwide renowned artist. Holy shit, dude. I wouldn't even know what to do with that information. Like, if you're Asmongold, what do you do with that information, dude? That's gotta be mind-blowing. He's like 35. How old is Asmongold? I don't know. Yeah, he's 35. Yeah, imagine being 35 years old and being the 8th most popular search term on the fucking planet. How old's Kendrick? I feel like he's like 37. 37, yeah. Born in 87. Oh, GNX. Yeah, GNX was a great album. My favorite of all time is always going to be To Pimp a Butterfly, and I wasn't just on the hype because Fantano gave it a 10 or whatever. I was on that shit day one, and I thought that was a great album. Alright, guys. Do we do it? Do we actually play Dead by Dizzlelight? Is that what we do? I have the game downloaded. I played a few matches with some friends. I have Rebecca Chambers. That's my character. I only play Survivor, by the way. No killer games. Nay. Well, then what do you suggest, Kendo? Guys, I'm off the next 5 days. We're going insane. We are... Beck. Okay. Well, I'm glad to see that I was able to twist your arm by doing absolutely nothing. And now you're convinced that we should play Dead by Daylight. I'm glad we had this conversation. Well... Yes, I have Rebecca Chambers, I've got Ada Wong, I've got Wesker, which I'm not going to play, but I have Cheryl from Silent Hill as well. Oh man, I can't believe that on my stream, I'm going into the Dead by Daylight category with 13.5 million followers and 23.2k concurrent viewers. Now, I might need to shut down the YouTube stream. If it fucks with my in-game performance too bad, I might have to. Alright, we gotta get a proper title. Finally learning DBD, no heated gamer moments. Alright, let's do it, guys. Let's see if it's gonna work. And I will ask some buds if they want to play. Let me ask Dude Core. Alright, Dude Core said he's gonna jump on. Let's go. Let's go, man. I'm hype. Alright, already got game capture. Now, is this gonna work is the question. I'm probably gonna need to move my camera down a bit further. And somebody said my camera was actually too small last stream, so I'll make it ever so slightly larger. Like, it shouldn't need to be any larger than that, realistically. Where's the game capture, dude? Maybe I have to have it do a specific window. He gave The Money Store a 10. Love that album, but it's not a 10 by any means. Freaking melon. Apologies, that was a part of the stream I didn't want you to hear. Am I gonna have to move this window up? Like above this? No. Bro, what is going on? Surely I don't have to do fucking window capture. I really don't want to have to do window capture. Because window capture puts this annoying green fucking border around my game. I really don't want to have to do that. Let me just make sure it's on full screen. Okay, it is. Let's see if I just leave it on the screen for a few seconds if it starts capturing it. I fucking hate window capture, man. It puts that, like I said, it puts that green border around my screen. And I really don't want to see that when I'm playing. I had to do that with like Mirror's Edge and a couple other games. What the? Well, I guarantee window capture would work. I just don't want to have to fucking do that. Yeah, like, of course that's gonna work, but now I have this fucking green border around my screen. Oh my god, dude. Why? You know what time it is. It's time to Google. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. It's because of the anti-cheat. Okay, I think I actually know what needs to be done here. Yep. Yes. Let's go. Shoutouts to AI. AI actually answered that question for me. You had to tick a box that said, like, basically work or compatibility mode for anti-cheat hook. You had to enable that. So let's go. All right, cool. Dude Core's in here. I will move him over.
Hello?
Hey, what's up, man?
Oh, hi. 1 second. There we go. Alright. I did it.
Alright, sweet. Let me move my man, Dude Core. I've got one other friend who's going to play with us. I just gotta...
Okay. Oh, alright. Cool.
Shit, how do I move him over? Why can I not?
I don't know. You're the big boss.
I'm trying. I can't figure it out, dude. Discord's such a fuck up.
Thing.
It's downloading. The eyes are fucked. What do you mean, Dude Core?
Huh?
Dude Core, can you join the channel that says Game with Stamp, or is that not visible to you?
Yeah,
oh, no.
Channel.
I got it. I got you. What's up, dude?
There you go.
What up?
Hi.
Yeah, this is my man Nemesis. He is a Dead by Daylight content creator on YouTube and a good IRL friend of mine for many, many years. So I need somebody to teach me how to play this godforsaken game.
Oh, this demon ass game that gets easy viewership?
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I got to get easy growth going. Yeah, I'm tired of working this hard, man. Fuck.
Bro, this
so difficult.
From half a chub to a full chub, boy.
All right, so I'm going to turn my volume in-game down super low, and I'll turn you guys up.
Settings are screwed right now.
Yeah, you're super quiet for me.
Yeah, because the Discord betrayed me.
Okay.
Oh, no.
And then I will adjust yours. All right. Put you guys down at like 80. Okay, perfect. All right, so yeah, as you guys can see, I only play Survivor. I have not touched a single killer game. Some killer games were played on my account, but it was not me. It was a friend of mine.
Is it better?
Yeah, it sounds great now.
Yeah, some bo doo doo.
I know you're on my friends list, dude, course, so you should be able to join on me once you get booted
I
up.
know what's the craziest thing? Today, I uninstalled that game.
Oh, just today?
Just today.
Well, you know what?
Everything. I uninstalled it to play AEW wrestling. I was like, I want to play wrestling because like it's made by THQ and Jax, whatever the the original wrestling game makers. So I was like, I want to play this, and then now I'm downloading it on my fiber optics.
Dude,
so I should be coming in strong.
WWF No Mercy is the best wrestling game ever made, and I will fight anybody that says otherwise.
Whoa! I think I had a little bit more fun with 2000.
Was that Attitude? WWF Attitude from 2000?
No. WrestleMania 2000.
Oh yeah. Was that on N64?
Yep, it came out before No Mercy.
That was good shit too. Yeah. And
I
then
like that one.
SmackDown versus Raw 2002 on PS2 was also a sick game. That was good shit, man. That was one of the first ones where you had like the character creator and you could just make a guy that was fucking jacked to the goddamn ceiling and 6'8", you know? You could basically make him like twice the size of the fucking Undertaker or Kane.
I felt like GameCube had a lockdown for at a certain point with the wrestling games.
Yeah,
After,
they had
like,
a lot.
the era of like Here Comes the Pain and stuff.
Yeah, that was good.
Day of Reckoning, WrestleMania 18, 19.
Whichever one had Brock Lesnar on the cover from around that time too was also really good.
Here Comes the Pain.
Yeah, that was good
that
shit.
2007?
Yeah, he was on the later ones.
That was the last like good one on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
And then WWE 13, WWE 13.
Yep.
That's the one where they brought back the Attitude Era. This is like on Xbox.
Yep.
Like, bro, I paid my nephew to let me play his Xbox for a little bit.
You know, everybody likes to jokingly clown on my age because they call me a boomer and stuff because I'm 30 now. But I'm actually so happy that I grew up.
What would they call me?
Dude, you're barely older than me. But
I'm 3 years older than that, though.
Nobody in this community is
level.
old, except that guy Wrong Panda who swears up and down that he was like 75, and he would not budge.
Yeah.
So he actually started to make me believe he was 75. And he also shared a project file from the mid to late 90s about an Alone in the Dark reboot that he was working on. So I actually believe him because he was in the workforce putting together like serious projects and proposals in the mid 90s. So I actually believe he was that old. But otherwise, yeah, we ain't no boomers. But I'm actually so grateful that I grew up during the Attitude Era because that was legit like the best era of wrestling to watch live. No lie. Like it was seriously just the best time to be a wrestling fan. And we lived through that shit live. That's why it was the best. You know, Undertaker.
All right, it finished.
Okay.
Thank God for fiber optics.
Jesus.
Yeah, like Undertaker.
Robbed the Steam servers. That's so fast.
Fucking just jack that shit. 300 megs down. Let's go. Nobody else is downloading shit tonight.
Yeah.
I remember Kane's debut. Like, dude, the fucking Brothers of Destruction era too, where they would tag team and both of them had the choke slam and the tombstone pile driver. Fuck yeah, man. That was like the best era ever. And then Stone Cold came in and like there was that Hell in a Cell match where Kane like I guess you could say controversially took the belt and then Stone Cold like challenged him the very next night and just beat the shit out of him. Man, that was a good time. Yeah,
That was the best era.
It was 100%. Like before phones, like nowadays you watch live WrestleManias and stuff, everybody's fucking looking at their phones. Back then when a wrestler made their entrance, all you saw was like flash bulbs and it was a fucking event. Like it was the reason you showed up was to watch The Undertaker. They would cool down the arena. They would blast all the fog and the smoke and the purple lights and everything. Man, that was the fucking time. You know, when the game, Triple H would come out, all the flash bulbs going off and everything, it was just unbeatable. It's like being an NBA fan in the 90s, you know, like that was just definitively the best era to be an NBA fan.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I see you're on. Let me go ahead and invite you. Oh, you should be able to join on me.
You gotta give me a second. Even though it says I'm on, it says it's doing the whole bullshit when it first starts.
Oh, like loading shaders and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll take a minute. It should be a little bit faster, but yeah.
I'm done with it.
Nice.
Yeah, my man Dude Core here. We're Street Fighter. We originated in the Street Fighter community. We usually run sets in Street Fighter 4 and stuff, but as soon as I mentioned Dead by Daylight, he's like, "Oh shit, I'm down." And I said, "Man, I need people to teach me."
I'm retired, by the way, from DBD, but for you, I came back for like Shawn Michaels.
Guest appearance. Let's go.
What a great! It's a great decision to make, actually.
Yeah.
This game is a bit toxic.
Oh, I've heard, but thankfully I don't have TTV in my name, so nobody will be like scoping out my stream.
I think it can be, but also it's to some extent a little bit nicer. Like if I go over to Rivals, for example, I will see some horrible shit.
Oh
spammed
yeah,
in all chat at me or whatever.
Yeah,
but
Rivals is bad.
People on DBD are hella entitled though. Like
yeah,
that's actually the biggest thing I would say.
All right. Oh, we got the Leon. Let's go. We got double Resident Evil. And then Shart Knocker 6'9", rocking the Ellen Ripley. Let's go. Yeah. You guys want to run some 2v8?
My loadout is. It's been a minute. I used to run Jill, because hidden tech in any game, if you run a girl, they don't kill you that quick.
The Simps. The Simps just follow you around. You're not wrong.
As a Leon main, they always trying to murder you. And I heard, I remember Bill. If you pick Bill, you're marked for death.
Bill is fucking just loud as hell. Like a lot of one thing about the males in this game is that their frame is a little bit larger, so I find that they're easier to spot. But also Jeff and Bill and Ash are super loud. When
Look at this.
Killer. I can hear Ash when he's uninjured, moving.
Yeah, Rebecca has some cool alts, but her default is a little jank.
Character here.
Yeah, actually, Nick Cage.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, Nick Cage just be talking randomly, just snitching.
All right, let's do it. Is this 1v4 or 2v8?
This is 1v4.
Oh, okay. That'll work for me. Let me get I gotta get my my perks together, man. I've been doing the blood web levels and everything. Let's see. I got Borrowed Time, Resilience, and We'll Make It, and Deja Vu. That should be good for a nooblet like me. First aid kit with rubber gloves and a sponge, and then an escape cake. Let's go. Yeah, there's no RPD cheerleader, unfortunately.
I'm running support.
Yeah,
wait, when the hell did we got blue items? Yeah, blue items?
That's the latest update. They changed the rarity colors. Green is now blue. Yep, green. What used to be green is now blue. Yellow is green. Yellow is just gone, I guess, and then brown is everything else is the same. It's basically they just put blue in place of green items.
Hey, what's up, Tusk? Hey, are you down to play, man? Or are you busy tonight? Because if you're down to play, we'll pick you up, dude. The way you said well, kind of ominous. Play some games, maybe? Sure, man. Gonna try and jailbreak my 3D. Be careful, Nintendo might brick it. Gonna implement that policy early. Jonathan Nintendo is gonna drive to your house and beat the shit out of you if you don't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, they update this game a little too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually tried to. Well, they slowed it down for like 3. They pushed things back this year because they're focusing on a series of health patches.
Yeah.
But yeah, they need it. They got so many fucking events now. I'm ready for them to take a break on events. I'm excited for the anniversary. I always love the anniversary. It's always a good time. But like after the anniversary, I'm hoping that they chill for like a month or two. Just because it has been event after event for the last like 2 months, and it's like getting like, oh my god.
It's kind of like Overwatch had that problem for a while, where if you took a few weeks off from the game and came back, some mechanic about your character that you enjoyed playing would be different, and it just got annoying after a while.
Well, that is one thing about this game. Yeah, they do have that. Like they do update it consistently, but I would say a lot of things stay the same in the meta they have for a minute.
They don't care about the 3DS.
On, the whole releasing of killers and survivors, like they've lost the luster. Like there's nothing really like, oh my god,
Five Nights at Freddy's is the new one, right? That's on the horizon.
Oh, Five Nights at Freddy's, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually kind of looking forward to that one. I want to. If he's a stealth killer, I'll be fucking happy. The last few killers have been like dash and 50-50 like range killers.
It's Blight, by the way.
Oh, okay. Yay.
Fun, dude.
I love Blight.
Oh, it's so hitchy.
I'm a fan of the human pinball.
I'm your killer. Have fun. Yeah, right, dude. I might have to shut the YouTube stream down because this is hitching so bad right now. I will gladly do that if need be.
Okay.
Damn, I haven't done a generator in so long.
It's time to lock in, dude. I expect nothing but dubs.
I think he's not on me. I think he's going off me. Yeah, he's on Lara.
Oh, I don't, but I will definitely turn that off.
Did you put your heart on?
Oh my god. Hardware acceleration turned off. Where is that?
I think you got to do it into Windows.
Oh, probably. On your actual PC. Yeah. Well, he's like right here, so.
Where's he going? Oh, he's going back where we were.
Alright, I'm gonna save this girl. I got her. Oh, you got her?
I got her. We'll double heal.
I got that boosted heal. Look at that. Oh, motherfucker.
Oh, he's coming back. Scatter, dude.
There. I'm just watching off in the distance while I do this shit. I just see Blight.
Yeah, dude. No, we're creating space, dude. Don't worry.
For the RE fans in the chat, it's Mr. Birkin.
God, this hitching is so bad.
No healing?
Oh my gosh. You're not hurt. You're good.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, you're good.
You just make weird noises, bro? I don't like it.
Making sus noises into the mic. You know how we do.
We don't want to get 3 gens over here. That's 2 gens in a row. We're about to pop.
Yeah, I think we're good on this one. He gave up over here.
He's chasing the Lara, I see.
She's just been tunneled the whole game.
Oh, now she's being tunneled, yes.
Yeah, I got a chase coming.
Damn, no skill checks at all, huh? I'll take it.
Oh, he's got pain res.
Let's hop on this
I wonder
one.
if he's got barbecue.
Oh, he's coming this way 100%.
Yeah, he's coming over here.
Oh, my man's is dashing. My vault sound didn't play.
That's what he does.
Great game.
Hi. Oh. Mr. Blight.
I'm coming for that. Shit, dude. I need fucking boost.
Bro, he's getting looped. Oh, he's coming this way.
Is he? Is he really? Bro, hey. I get 2 seconds to chase and he leaves me? What?
I don't know where he went, but he seems to have left me alone. I'm chilling.
He's on dude now. He's on dude and he's going back for Lara.
Just can't play.
This guy is actually wearing a t-shirt that says I heart tunneling right now. Jesus Christ.
No,
like
dude.
that's I'm not normally the kind of guy that throws that shit around at people just getting mad about it, but that's absolutely what he's doing. He is shoving her out of this match.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
I gotta stick the gen, my dude.
Yeah, do it. He'll probably be back over here at me. Maybe not. I don't know.
Oh, I'm
no,
fucked.
It's on you.
Oh, this hitching, dude.
Well, I got this gen nearly done.
Yeah, it's been a
This
minute.
fucking hitching is so bad.
You need healing?
Yeah. You know, they're doing a thing this week. Every completed heal on a survivor, actually, they're like multiplying it and giving it to a charity, like a cancer charity. It's actually kind of neat.
Oh, nah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Okay. I had to navigate all the fucking hitching. That wasn't terrible. I'm gonna shut the YouTube stream down after this. It's just too much resources, I believe. And then I'll shut off hardware acceleration too.
Uh-oh. We got a protection hit.
Oh, fuck, oh, fuck.
I can't believe he carried you that far.
Yeah, he also swung on somebody.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm surprised. I saw him get that swing.